Hey, welcome back to the channel. So I've showed some 91mm scales before, but several people requested an update. And so I'll show you some new scales that I have, and I'll give you some more information about the scales that I showed before. All right, so first up, these 3D printed scales I showed last time, and I said do not buy them because they do not work at all. They do not snap onto the knife. All right, see, they do not snap on. The holes are too small. Plus, you can see they're bent. And so last time I recommended, I said, do not buy these. They are not worth your money. But shortly after that video, the seller sent me a replacement. And so he remade them. He made them significantly thicker. Very thick, I would say. Still, it has some really strange problems. You can see right here. There's a hole in the side of this. I'm not sure why. But these actually, if you were interested in a 3D printed scale, these actually snap on now, and somewhat decent. Okay, definitely still not top of the line, not premium, but if you were interested in a 3D printed scale, I mean, I guess that it's not too bad. All right, next up are these scales. These are really unique. They're titanium, but what is unique about them is, if you notice, they don't have the back scale. And so these scales can be used to make a bladeless Swiss Army knife. Whereas before, it was impossible because the blade of the Swiss Army knife goes on the same layer as the corkscrew. And so if you completely remove, let's say you want to make a TSA approved Swiss Army knife, you couldn't do it because if you remove the knife, then basically this layer is empty. And it's kind of awkward putting in a different tool other than the corkscrew or the Phillips screwdriver. And so with these scales, actually you could make, let's say, like simply a scissor layer is all, like a one layer Swiss Army knife with just scissors, or you could add however many you wanted basically. And so the back is something that on my last video several people requested, was actually to show the back of the scales, so you can see how they were made or milled. All right, and something that also you'll notice about this bottom row is that all of them have holes. You have the 3 holes, and what that's for is those scales come with bolts like these. And so what you do is actually instead of peening the knife shut, you bolt it shut. And that's kind of nice because you can open it up and you can, modify it. You can replace tools, all of that. A small disadvantage is, as you see written on this one, it's a 3-layer. And so if you wanted a 4-layer knife, well, unfortunately, this won't work. And so you won't be able to add bolts. You'd have to peen it shut, and your peening work would be visible. All right, so these are also titanium. I've made a knife with these before. Turned out really nice. All right, backside. And so what's kind of cool is with that little plus logo, you can actually see the liners below. And so if you have colored liners, you'll be able to see that. All right, next to that is very similar. It's got kind of these squares cut out in it. A little logo here. All right, and all of these that I'm showing you right now, except for these 3D printed, this bottom row, they're all from China. But the titanium is good quality. I have not had any trouble with them. They snap onto the knife without any, oh, these aren't gonna snap on. Right, these bolt on. Sorry, I'll get to the snap-on Chinese scale soon. All right, same setup basically, different design. You got the copper plus logo, and that's actually solid copper. You can see it all the way through. And so it's CNC'd, it's milled the same way as the other ones that I've just showed. All right, and the next one looks really cool. It's got like I guess you'd call it a Damascus kind of style to it. These black waves. I think they've been laser etched in there, I'm guessing. Not sure. And then I'll jump up. These next 2 were made by a man in the UK. I'll be sure to attach a link to his Facebook. But this is brass. And it's actually, it's pretty heavy. I like the quality. He did a good job. Something to keep in mind if you plan to order these scales is that these cutouts here, they're a bit wide. And so when you put it doesn't snap onto a knife. And so once you put it on, you can see it still has some play to it. And so this is going to have some epoxy, which it's not really a problem. It's just something to keep in mind. If you do want to get scales like these, you're going to have to epoxy them onto place. All right, these are from the same guy, same design, but these are aluminum. And so they're actually super, super lightweight. They look really nice. I think you did a really good job on those. All right, and these are back to Chinese scales, titanium. And now these ones we can snap on for a demonstration. Yeah, it's gonna be really tight. There we go. All right, so you can hear that, and you can see it snapped on pretty well. And so, like I said, I've not had any problem with these Chinese scales as far as their quality or how well they snap onto the knife. They snap on well, and they always look nice and flat. And so they've done a good job on those. Again, it's always best to still epoxy the knife, the scales onto your knife, just so they don't come off while you're using it. All right, same setup here. Also titanium scales from China. And I've flamed these type of scales before. I flamed them black. Turned out really nice also. All right, so that's the front and back of those. All right, this is also titanium. And behind the logo is like a Damascus kind of inset. A lot of times on the knives I make, I'll put a G10 inset behind that logo so it matches the liners. All right, so this one has a little circular design. Here's the back. Again, a lot of people requested to see the back of the scales. And as you can see, it's got a pocket clip built in, and it's actually removable. And so if you don't want the pocket clip, you can unscrew it. And it has a small little piece that screws into there, so it's not an empty little slot. All right, then next up, really nice looking scales. Also titanium from China. It's got like this rock pattern to it. And the color's kind of interesting. It's between blue and purple. It depends on how you look at the scale. All right, I'll show you the back of this. And now, while it looks like brass, it's this gold and bronze color because it was flamed blue. And so that's why you see the yellowish golden color. And here you can see the CNC working also. The little steps through it. These also snap on really well. No trouble with them snapping on. All right, some more titanium scales from China. There we go, got it up. All right, these got a little stripe design to them on the back. That's what it looks like. Carbon fiber scales. These are super lightweight. And again, here's the work on the back of it. You can see where it's been milled out, CNC'd, whatever you want to call it. Also, no trouble with these snapping on. They snap on really well. They look nice. These, like I said, they're from China, but the quality is really decent. All right, and these are the last ones from China. These are brass. All right, so there's the work on the back. And these also snap on really well. They're significantly heavier than the rest of the scales. That's because the brass is a heavier metal, whereas most of these are titanium. And titanium is really a tough metal, and it's really lightweight, which is why it's really a good option for your pocket knife. But I guess, you know, a lot of people, they like the hefty feel to a knife. When you pick it up, it's like, oof, this has got some weight to it. And so these brass scales, they've got the weight. All right, the next ones I've showed you on the previous video, they are Mitonboss Titanium Plus scales. And they look really nice. They've been laser etched, and I believe they've also been, what's it called? Flamed? Heat etched, whatever. All right, so here you can see also the work on the back of the scale. Now this right here is supposed to have that bend in it. It's to, per se, pinch the needle when you put it in there so that it doesn't like slide out easily. And so that's not a mistake. That's supposed to have that little bend. Right, so plus scale means it has the slot for a pin. All right, these also are from Mitonboss. They're also plus scales. These are the same design as these blue ones, but these ones were not flamed. And so this has just been laser etched. All right, so this is what it looks like on the back. Same thing with these. They snap onto a knife without any difficulties. This is one of the more popular scales of his that I have in stock. It's kind of like this wooden color to it. Looks really cool. All right, and the back's gonna look the same as the rest of the Mitonboss scales. And again, I really like how in the light it kind of like changes color from like almost, you got some black looking and then in blue, and so it shimmers really nice. All right, same thing with these scales. Same setup, Mitonboss plus scales. On the back, you can see all the blue and the red, the copper, the yellowish brass color. It's also just from being flamed. In the front, you have a nice, pretty design. Then these ones are the circuit board also, like I showed before, but these ones have been flamed, so they got the blue on the back and the front. These ones are new. I just recently got these in the mail. These ones he called Reptilian. And these, I'm guessing they've been laser etched, I'm not sure. Compared to the other, these are very abrasive or coarse. And so they're not slick, they're not smooth. You can feel those, if you don't call them scales. And again, on the back, you see the work done on it. Something interesting about these scales is how in the light, they kind of change. And so you look at it like this, it looks really nice with the you know, like snake skin. But at a different angle, it looks, you could like see white marks. So also really nice scales, nice design that he did there. And the last one we're going to look at are these copper scales, also from Mitonboss. And so they are also plus scales. They have the pin and the needle layer, slot, I'm sorry. And these are also significantly heavier scales than the titanium ones. But once again, that's because you got solid copper. And so it's also a really cool design. I like the look of the copper. Like I said, they're significantly heavier than the rest of the scales. You want to snap these on and see how that looks. All right, so like that. Snaps on really well. Looks really nice. All right. That's it for these scales. Let me know what you think. Let me know what's your favorite. And feel free to ask any questions. Thanks for watching.